Okay, everybody, welcome to my brand new esports cast. This is my first esports cast ever. My name is Solaris. My goal here today is to kind of go back and look at some of these old matches that we have from really good teams and to kind of follow just like one or two players to see what they're doing. A lot of times when you have these sportscast, what you do is you find that they're covering the whole thing. They're not covering what one person is doing, and so you really can't see the kind of tips and tricks that individual players will deploy in order to be as good as they really are. So, for example, you might watch person in the top lane, person in the bottom lane, person in the mid lane. You keep switching back between those things. And you're not really seeing what sets up the gank in the bottom lane, what sets up the success, what the support is doing to help the carry succeed. And this is partly, I do this partly because of my own interest. I honestly want to learn more about the game, and people tell me I have a good face for video casting, so or audio casting. So why don't I go ahead and try my hand at that? So right now we got the draft underway. And this is actually probably not what I'm really going to do. Suffice to say, I'm going to go ahead and speed forward through this so we can go ahead and get to the beginning. Okay, that is not what I wanted to do. Clearly not what I wanted to do. We'll back up here. Okay, so just to kind of point out what's going on in the game here, we've got Slardar, Venomancer, Darkseer, Nightstalker, and Shadow Fiend on the Radiant side. No, on the Dire side. And Diggity is pulling out this what looks to be a interesting strat. We got okay, we're just gonna pause here. Oh, that is an annoying noise to pause on, is it not? Okay, so we have a setup. We have Synderen on the Venomancer. We have Yapzor on the Nightstalker, Quakefa on the Shadow Fiend era, or ERA, whatever, on the Slardar, and Keizu on the Darkseer. Odds are, I mean, if you're looking at this, you're trying to figure out who's going where. I really don't know. I would assume that the Shadow Fiend's going mid. I would assume the Nightstalker is probably going to go safe lane, kind of roam. I would assume the Slardar is I don't know, maybe safe lane. I don't really know what's going on here. So if I looked at this draft, I would really not have any clue what was happening, and I would not know what to do against it. On the other side, we've got a Wraith King, played by Mushi. We've got the Lion, played by DJ. An Alchemist by Mid 1. 343 is playing the Vengeful Spirit, and Ohio's playing the Bat Rider. Of course, you're usually going to get an Ohio Bat Rider in the off lane. You're going to get a Mid Alchemist right now in this current meta, probably a safe lane Wraith King, supported by a Lion, and maybe a Vengeful Spirit as well, kind of roaming supports there. I'm guessing that's what's going to happen probably in this game. So the person I want to watch in this game is probably the Venomancer. And the reason is because the Venomancer is a very interesting pick, and it's kind of curious as to how they're going to play this. So I'm going to follow the Venomancer around the whole game. I am not going to take it off. I'm actually going to put it on the perspective of the Venomancer, which would be Synderen in this case. By the way, congrats Synderen on making the leap from sportscaster to actual video gamer. Pretty awesome stuff. I know you originally came from that world. I know you're originally a professional. I think you won some big tournaments back in the day. But you're an old man now, and you have to make your mark. The question is, what have you done lately? Apparently, pretty good. You've won. My understanding is you actually won, I think, first place in the qualifiers for your region with your team. And I think you did pretty well in the most recent tournament. I cannot remember, to be honest with you. I will have to look that up. Okay, so starts off, Venomancer is going to start off with the Clarity. He's going to start off with the 2 Tangos, gave a couple over to, I'm assuming, the mid Alchemist. And he's got Sentry Wards and Observer Wards. So the question is, why would he do that? Why would he start off with a Sentry Ward and Observer Ward? I don't know, we're about to find out. Probably, I'm assuming he's going to counter at least one of the wards that he suspects the enemy's going to have. Maybe he's planning on laning offensively, so he's going to ward off a jungle. Not really sure. So it looks like right now what's happening is they're staying all grouped up as 3 here, right above this rune. 4 here, right above this rune. They don't want to reveal their position yet. They want to let the person go for the rune. Venomancer's last. He is not at front. They're letting the big bruiser Yapzor go front. He is taking quite a bit of damage, but he's also doing quite a bit of damage. And he's going to die anyway. Fnatic's Lion's going to get killed. It's a good shot. Of course, Synderen looks like he's going to get creamed here by the Bat Rider. Going to get 3 stacks. They're just going to go ahead and stun him up and get him dead. He did not have a chance to do anything in the jungle, so it's clear that he did not intend to block any camps there. Maybe he's going to block the camp later on. For the pools, the Alchemist and Wraith King pools, not really sure. Bought himself a town. So he's going to safe lane this. All right, that makes sense. A safe lane, position 1, Venomancer can be pretty nasty. Get those ultimates up really fast, doing tons of dot damage. Get those Plague Wards out, pushing towers. And, of course, with the Poison Sting, you can do quite a bit of damage pretty quickly. He is actually alone up here in his lane. At least it looks like that at the moment. He doesn't really know what's going on. So he's busy keeping the creep wave pulled in his direction, not too far away from the tower. He wants to be able to be in that safe zone right about, I guess, here. So he's going to go around. I guess he's trying to force him out of the lane. He slows him down, puts some pressure on him. He should be able to do decently against the Bat Rider, but the Bat Rider's got 3 stacks of napalm on him, which is not good. Sticky napalm, 4 stacks of sticky napalm. He will lose that if he tries to continue that engagement. That's why he pulls off. So Bat Rider's going to go ahead and try to, I'm guessing he's just trying to pull that lane a little bit. So we got Era just kind of sitting around, not really sure what he's doing other than taking a few hits from these ranged creeps. It's not really clear. Synderen giving some farm there to Era. That's interesting. Maybe Era is actually the safe laner. Yeah, I guess that's right. So this actually not a position 1. I guess he was just taking the farm while he was there, and then Era was gone. Not sure where Era was. So 2 minutes, he starts heading down toward the rune spot. I guess he wants to see what's going on. He goes ahead, casts 2 of those wards down right above the river. He wants to be able to see where that gank is coming, and probably be able to counter ward if there ever is a ward coming out. Probably, yeah, he's pulling here at 2 minutes and 19 seconds. That's a very late pull. Though he got it. He got 3 of them, so I'm not sure that was intentional or if he just didn't get the timing down right. I'm going to go ahead and deny that creep. Continue taking the farm so that Era can continue in the lane. Slardar getting farm, safe lane farm against the Bat Rider, though he does have to be careful. He does have a stun, though. He should be able to get out. Synderen here denying his own creeps. Probably going to go ahead and take that creep out. He's got enough damage. He's going to be able to pull that off. Okay. So he doesn't know there's a ward there. He might find out now. I guess that it wasn't in the respawn zone, so it didn't block the camp. So 3 minutes, he's heading down. Looks like he's getting ready to ward. Oh, he is not. He warded offensively there. I'm not really sure what that was all about. Maybe to stop that camp, to stop the Bat Rider from being able to, I guess, get stacks and then stack the camp up. So, but he paid for it. Got a little bit of damage. Nothing too bad. 400. He's probably going to go ahead and buy him some boots. He sure did. He's going to go ahead and get the courier to send those out. So right now it looks like he's basically just sitting off the map, sort of supporting Era just by being around. I'm just going to go pick up his boots now. Four minutes coming up, maybe going to the rune. Not really sure what he's thinking about doing here. Okay, so he checked out the Bat Rider down there. He saw the Bat Rider, pointed out the Bat Rider. He sees the double damage rune. He's going to go for the double damage rune. Not quite there in time. But he's coming into the jungle here. I'm not sure what this is about. Okay, so it looks like he wanted to set up a ward to see what's going on in the jungle. That's why he was there, using his own wards, not the purchased wards. So while he was down here, went ahead and engaged in a little team fight, popping to clarity, going back up to the lane as soon as he possibly can, gets himself some more wards. You know, I guess he wants to be able to keep this constant vision up. He is definitely not a first position. Looks like he's maybe a 5th position. I'm guessing behind everybody. Yeah, he's in 5th position. So puts the ward there. I'm guessing what that's for is to make sure that the Shadow Fiend does not get ganked. He's doing this while he's popping a clarity. He can't do anything else while he has a clarity on because he can't stack camps. He can't attack anything. He will get that clarity removed. So this is what he's doing now. He's trying to figure out whether or not, I guess just to keep the Shadow Fiend safe, which is a pretty good idea if all you're doing is buying wards and stacking jungle and getting a few last-minute hits. He's sitting at level 3. He's checking what his friends have. He's seeing what's going on. He's now in the bottom lane. He may be setting up for a gank here. He does have the slow, Venomous Gale for the slow. He's sitting pretty far behind. It's not really clear whether the enemy's going to know that he is there. Probably trying to go ahead and set up a gank here. Yep, Night Stalker going to the jungle. It is nighttime. Last few minutes of nighttime. We've got the big bruiser, Night Stalker with the Darkseer double. The Darkseer double Ion Shell. There it is. There's a setup. Venomous Gale. Perfect setup right there. Go ahead and get the kill. That was just too easy. And all he did was Venomous Gale. Going to go ahead and ward up the jungle. Make sure that, I guess, enemies are spotted if they come over and try to gank. These, of course, are very temporary. They don't last very long. But the nice thing is that the ward duration is 40 seconds no matter what level you have. So I'm going to guess that what he's going to do here is he's going to go ahead and keep one level in that for a while, maybe level up his Poison Sting to contribute to team fights a little bit more, and just basically go around and be kind of a ward bitch. He's setting up for a kill here on mid 1. I'm guessing he's calling his friends over right about now, or at least letting them know. Maybe just setting up for some damage on mid 1 as soon as... he's actually stealing experience. I didn't think about that. That's a nice little trick. Go ahead and make sure you're not going to be ganked by putting wards everywhere, and then just sit in the enemy jungle, pointing out where the enemy is, and slowly stealing their experience, siphoning off their experience. That's pretty clever. You got nothing else to do. Don't want to do it in your own jungle. You can't really farm your own jungle because you take too much damage. Okay, so he did actually go ahead and go for the Plague Wards level 2. I'm guessing he's going to need to do some tower pushing and maybe do some damage with those. Probably going to cast a Gale here. No? All right. So this is your hard position 5, ladies and gentlemen. He has 84 gold. He bought yet another ward. He has boots, a magic stick, not even the wand yet. And he has clarity he hasn't used yet. I guess he used one of them. Maybe he had 2 to start with. I think he bought 1. So that's a permanent ward, or shall I say a purchased ward. He wanted to make sure there was a consistent vision over that tower so he could push the tower. So this is starting to make sense, right? He's got the level 2 Plague Wards. He's getting ready to... He's leveling those up so he can have them for the tower push. He's got the ward on the tower so he can see backline supports coming in. He can see TPs coming in. He currently sees 2 people down there, and he did not have anybody down there right now. So it's like the action's up in the top lane. He's concerned about what's going on up there. He does not have a TP, though, so he can't get there. He's got a DD rune, so the question is, what is he going to be doing? Looks like he's probably going to be trying to put some pressure on this mid. He just pointed out that there's somebody mid. I guess he's getting ready to ward that up and start the push on that tower. Not really sure why he's putting a ward right there. There it is. He sees the TP coming in. They saw him. As you can tell, there was a ward sitting there. Now he's just backing off because he knows he can't do it alone. So all his teammates are busy doing other things at the moment. Buys a TP finally so we can participate in these team fights. He's still only level 4 at 8 minutes and 47 seconds. So, you know, my guess is he's going to have to start getting some experience here before long. Otherwise, he's going to fall too far behind. And that ultimate is really nasty. Before BKBs, he's going to do a ton of damage, and he can be a nice sacrificial lamb for the for his team. Get up there and go ahead and ult and die and have a few Plague Wards up, and that's really all he's going to contribute because he's so low experience. He can do a little bit of damage, but his ultimate's going to be the best thing that he's got. So they've got vision to this tower down there because he's coming down there to join his friend, who is currently sitting there, Keizu. Going to cut the lane. It's like, I'm guessing that he doesn't think DJ... Yeah, there's his opening, Venomous Gale. He's waiting for that counter initiation. He's not going to be able to do enough damage, unfortunately, before this TP goes out. But now they split the wave. Now they start the tower push. This is it. He puts those back lines so he can see, I guess, see what's going on. in case there's some people back there. He wanted to see whether anything was going on. He's in danger here of popping his clarity, though. So it's pretty clear he is committed to this. He is... Yeah, he just lost his clarity. But he got enough, I guess, because he's really only putting up Plague Wards to defeat this tower. He should be able to put up a Plague Ward, 1 Plague Ward. Every 2 Plague Wards that are taken out, he can put up 1 new one. So he does have to have creep support to maintain this push. Looks like there's not going to be any TPing in. The enemy is not really pushing on the top tower very well. I mean, it's trying to, but they're able to get the tower. This is what Venomancer does best. The reason I love playing Venomancer. Is there going to be a gank mid lane? His focus is now mid lane. He's not there, so he's just going to keep pushing the lane. He does not have a teleport scroll. And I guess there's a lag. Of course there's lag. Okay, so what we've seen so far from this Venomancer is hard support, maybe even a fake out in the top lane as a position 1. I'm not really sure that was intentional or not, but that might have been really nice. But then again, I'm not sure what benefit that would have for only a few second fake, maybe a 2-minute fake out, 1-minute fake out there. He quickly transitioned to the 5 support. Maybe that was decision. Maybe that was intention all along. It's not really clear. You do need significant farm on the Slardar if you're going to be able to do well with him. You need to have a Blink Dagger on him. You do not really need a whole lot of farm on a Venomancer to do some serious damage, especially if his general role is going to be as Plague Ward bitch. Purchasing wards, all kinds of wards. He's going to be able to help out the entire team. Everybody's going to know where all the enemies are. You can see his ward placement. He has wards over a gank area right here to see where it's going on. This is where the Alchemist is going to be stacking and farming, so he can intercept stacks there, and he can go ahead and gank. I guess they're going to go back to gameplay here. He's also got a ward here, I guess, to make sure that he's not followed behind the tower. Somebody doesn't come up behind the tower and surprise him while he's sitting there gaining experience. Also, just to see what's going on for the people who are in lane. Like, he's in lane right now, and he's pushing the lane. He needs to see what's going on from that position. And here's the blue coming in as the Shadow Fiend. Actually, that's the Lion. And that's a perfect setup. That's why wards win games. Unfortunately, he couldn't quite complete it. He's probably going to run in there and go ahead and get the kill anyway because he's got the stun. And he has the Ion Shell, which is nice. So that's a kill that Synderen has earned because of his ward placement, because of his constant purchasing of wards. And he pushes in the lane. He pulls the guy out. I guess doesn't really fish him out, but he's able to elicit him from the lane, which is really nice. So he's going to go ahead and be pushing this mid-tier 2, sorry, this bot tier 2, which is very nice. He should be able to get some decent pressures. He's got a catapult. The top lane is pushing, but that's not that bad because he's already at tier 2, is already halfway gone, and the top is still not gone for him. TP's coming in now. He's probably going to die here. Wraith King should be able to have a stun. I'm guessing he knows it. Does he purchase anything? He sure does. He anticipates dying, so he went ahead and got the... He's going to try TP out. Not going to be successful. Nice try. But he did get his purchase in, so he's trying to build a little bit of stats. He's going for the Null Talisman, a little bit of strength, a little bit of agility, 6 intelligence, which he's going to need. Just a little bit of intelligence for that mana regeneration so he can sustain the Plague Wards. Got another set of wards, and this is his first death. Okay. So I think he just purchased a smoke. I'm not really sure there. Okay, so his team purchased a smoke. So question is why are they smoking right now? That's the question I want to ask. And I think it's, they have no vision anywhere. The mid, top, they don't really know what's going on. And maybe that's what this is. Maybe a ward mission. They need a smoke for this. They could probably try to get a gank off of it. They know what's going. They knew they need to do that. Unfortunately, though, for them, their 2 bots just got crushed. He still does not have level 6, so he cannot contribute that well to this. All he can do is really stun. Now, he is going to get creamed by this team. He is only 760 health. He got a couple Plague Wards doing some decent, overtime damage, but they're not going to be able to kill that Wraith King. He finally has the ult. I'll see if he uses it here. I doubt he will. Yeah. He did go ahead and get the Venomous Gale out, which I believe does do a little bit of damage. Does a little bit of damage, yeah. It does an initial damage, and it has damage over time per tick. Not very much, but that's all he really could do. That was the most damage he could do, I guess. Not really. He'd have just hit him and done more damage. It's probably not a good idea. Waste his money, mana on that. So here, that was the reason for the smoke. He smoked because he had no vision of the enemy jungle. And he needed to reestablish that vision in order to do so. He would smoke, go in, go ahead, maybe hopefully get a gank with his friends, go ahead and set up the ward exactly where he wanted it to be so he could see what's going on in the middle, any movement from mid over to the bot lane, and to protect his rear end if he is sitting over here in these jungles trying to sap up some experience. So he's looking for a Veil of Discord. Now, that's an excellent setup for his Poison Nova. All he has to do is cast. He's got 2 Null Talismans. I guess he needs a few more health, a little bit more health. As I was saying before, he only had 760 health. That's not a whole lot of health. He needs some more health. Looks like they need to be able to put some pressure on, and he's not even used his ult yet. He'd like to be able to use it. And maybe they're thinking he can get the Roshan a little bit better with these 2 Null Talismans. Maybe their team's getting ready to push the towers. The ultimate's going to be great, but maybe the long-term gain is this Veil of Discord, which should do a ton of damage with his Poison Nova. And if you add to that the Ion Shell and the Shadow Fiend's magic damage, you're going to find that you're going to have quite a significant amount of magic damage boost. Should be able to really heat up the enemy pretty quickly. So that was a mistake by Mushi. He should die for this, I'm assuming. There's the ultimate just to ensure the kill. I guess I would, if I were him, I would have waited just an extra second while those players came in, because those players are not going to get ulted. He's lucky because his entire team just crushed the enemy. It doesn't really matter whether he used his ultimate or not. I don't think that ultimate goes on towers. That would be crazy if it did. He went ahead and used all of his gold to on those kills to purchase both the Helm of the Iron Will and the Veil of Discord. Recipe, he's now going to have a Veil of Discord. So his entire job in this game now is going to be slowing enemies, putting magic amplification on them, and then ulting. And vision. Those are his jobs, I'm guessing. Is he going to cut him off, or is he going to go in the backside? Yeah, he's going to try to cut him off. Put up a ward up there. That's a nice thing about the ward. They do slow a little bit, I believe. No, they do not, damn it. They do not slow.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So, he's got, and by the way, he purchased this Veil of Discord after he warded up the jungle. Important note for all of you sports out there. The wards come first. That is his job. That is his #1 job. He will always have his #1 job be wards. Maybe at the very end of the game when he's way far ahead and he doesn't need to worry about purchasing wards anymore, and you can go ahead and do that. You can buy nice, sweet items like in the ultimate, or maybe an eggs, maybe a refresher, things like that. I don't know if this thing can even be boosted by eggs. Yeah. So those are his priorities later in the game, even at warding, because that point later in the game, somebody's got a gem, they're going to come through and they're just going to de-ward, and really the wards are only going to last for 40 seconds anyways. So that's another potential benefit to a late game Venomancer, is maybe you get boots of travel on the Venomancer, maybe you travel around, you just put wards everywhere, you're constantly moving around, maybe a blink dagger if you've got enough money. You should be able to keep pretty good vision on the map. It's not quite a Beastmaster, but you can keep the lanes pushed, you can keep vision of everywhere, everything that's going on, and you can do a little bit of damage over time. So it's not a bad, Venomancer is really good throughout the game. Of course, the big problem with Venomancer mid to late game is BKBs, because all of his damage is basically magic damage. He's got 72 per hit on a regular attack, and that's crap for mid to late game. He's going to die. He's only got 1,000 health. He's got 13 armor, which is actually not that bad. I'm guessing there's some armor. Yeah, some armor from the Veil of Discord from that Helm of the Iron Will. That's helping him out a little bit, but that's, he is basically an alt guy at the end of the game. He's going to Venomous Gale, he's going to Veil of Discord, and he's going to alt, and hopefully do a crap ton of damage to everybody in an AoE circle, and then die. That's basically his job. You can potentially buy back, but there's no real reason for that. He's pretty weak. You can potentially play defensive late game. You can do decent work defending the base. You can keep pressure on towers without having to do anything. So Venomancer is actually a really good hero all around. Kind of a late game light push onto the towers. Siege, kind of a slow siege, just a little bit of damage, is really nice. I'm curious to see if he'll go with an Aether Lens so he can get additional cast range on that. That'd be kind of a fun concept. He might go for a Force Staff, which is something that would benefit him. He can get into the fights, he can get out of the fights, survive a little bit more. But he is a position 5, so my guess is, as kind of the ward and alt bitch, he's probably not going to be getting... well, it's a pretty cheap item. Maybe he'll get it anyway. So again, what is he doing? He's basically walking around and warding in a big radius. He wants to be able to see what's going on in this entire area. So now, if they were to walk in within this 40-second window, then he should be able to see. So he saw it immediately. He saw this guy come in at the bottom. He immediately pinged. He's now got a friend in there, and they've got pushing tower top. This was clearly set up to be able to protect themselves while they're pushing this tower. That's the whole point of these wards. He continues to ward up. Yeah, they're going to lose a guy mid, but they're going to take this tower. But he should be able to defend this tower with just a few Plague Wards. Maybe not defend it, but he's at very least going to... should be able to pull the creep wave a little bit. Now he ults. He ults specifically on the Alchemist. It's going to tickle the Alchemist. It's not really going to do anything because the Alchemist has Chemical Rage on. Should be able to regenerate pretty well. I guess with the additional damage from his teammates, though, that's a pretty big kill there. That is their position 1. Or 2, I suppose. Probably position 1, given the Agreeable Screen and the amount of farm priority he's going to get. So, they were able to take a top tower, defend their mid tower, get 2 kills, and push. And partly that was set up because they knew they were protected top tower. They lost a guy mid, that is true, but thanks to the very quick TP in from Venomancer, there was just enough protection there, and they can go ahead and sack a Venomancer in the mid. He's actually going to be good at defending that, and if he does die, then, you know, whoop-de-doo, he's a position 5. He doesn't have very much wealth at all.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So here he is, sitting back lines, basically purchasing, just buying wards, and, I'm sorry, not buying wards. He is putting up wards just to go ahead and kill the tower. That is basically his job. Now, it's interesting. More wards. More wards. The question is, what does he do at this point? He's pushed all but the top tower. He's almost to the tier 3s. They need to start transitioning into a siege. And they need to have very significant vision so they don't get surrounded. But they're pushing the towers. He needs to be able to start taking over the enemy's jungle. And how do you do that? Well, with a gem. I'm guessing that this gem's primary purpose is to be able to push through their jungle, make sure that there are no wards. He's using his wards as vision and the gem to sense, have true sight. And then he's going to basically go through the entire jungle, make sure there are no wards, make sure he's protected. By the way, if you go through the entire jungle and you know that there's no wards, that tells you that the enemy really is lacking vision. And probably not just there, but probably other places as well. So he's discovered it's safe there. He's going through here. He's going to now go through this area. He discovers the wards. Okay, he's going to let the Plague Wards take out the wards from afar, which is awesome. Very safe for him. He's going to put a ward right in its place. I don't know if that was a taunt or not, but... So he's basically moving through. He's setting up for this tower kill. He went ahead and put up his defensive wards here. Not defensive wards, but just trying to see what's going on. He needs to be able to see what the enemy's going to try to counter by going around and flanking. It's pretty clear that nothing is going like that's going to happen unless they're smoked up moving through. It's why you put a ward over there. He wants to see what's going on. Where are these guys? Why can I not see them? He's probably also going to start putting wards on the tower now. Yep, there's the tower ward. The enemies are like, okay, what's going on? We need to get ready for the gank. And while these two push the tower, they can take the two of them can take the tower. So they're TPing away because they realize they're now going to get killed. They're going to go ahead and give up YapzOr on the Night Stalker. It's a fine trade. They get the final tower. They do have to defend this mid though. So the question is, what does he do? Okay, so now that he's purchased a gem, he's got 3 wards. He's done pretty much everything he needs to do to be a really good position 5 Venomancer. He is now going for the ultimate, and that makes a lot of sense. He already has the Veil of Discord. He needs to be able to do a significant amount of damage in these team fights. Big wombo combo, damage over time, with the Ion Shell and Slardar, AoE stun, and here he goes. He ults. That's it. That's all he needs to do. You're now going to push the enemy team back. Look at the amount of damage being dealt to that. And I don't think that was even with a Veil of Discord. So, you know, you're going to get an Axe Veil of Discord ult on a Venomancer, and all you have to do basically is cast those two. I mean, you can do that instantly. The Veil of Discord is an instant cast, and then the ultimate is an instant cast. So you're going to get that off. You're going to get damage over time. And with the rest of your team, the amount of team fight that they have, they don't have a lot of single target, but they do have a significant amount of team fight. They're going to be able to basically knock the enemy team apart without doing much at all, really. The Wraith King has a lot of health, and he has a lot of armor, but you know, he's going to be vulnerable to this magic damage. He doesn't have any anti-magic stuff. You got the Lion, who does not have anything, can't build into a pipe yet. None of these people have BKBs. Okay, the Alchemist has quite a bit of gold. He's got a Radiance, which is nice. That's a damage over time spell, but the longer the fight goes, more likely what's going to happen is the Venomancer is going to add pain. Lots of pain. So, yeah, the Radiance is good. Obviously, it's going to help farm. Obviously, it's going to be able to provide a lot of resistance to the enemy when they try to attack an Alchemist. And if he stays alive, he's going to do a lot of damage. But if you're staying alive, you know, that's good, but you're also probably taking a lot of damage. So no pipe there, no BKB there. Vengeful Spirit is very, very poor support. No pipe, no BKB. And no pipe, no BKB on the Batrider. So where is their protection from the Venomancer going to come from? And keep in mind, so they've got 1180 health, 1040, 1800, it's pretty big on the Alchemist there, 1060. So you got basically everywhere between, basically three supports with, well, 2 supports and 1 core with about 1000 health. And if you think about what Venomous Gale is going to do, Venomous Gale has 55 damage right now. It's going to do 55 damage per tick, 16 ticks. So what is that? That's over 600 damage right there. And he's going to get a level 3 very soon. So he's going to get 80 damage for 16 ticks. So that's going to be like almost 1000 damage here for his level 3 Poison Nova. You add to that, probably, he won't have a Ags for a while, but you add to that the Veil of Discord. And you've got a 25% bonus, so he's gonna be able to do lethal damage with 1 ult to potentially 3 heroes, just by himself, and with just casting his ult. So they can go on him, but they have to kill him before he gets his ult off. And he currently has almost more health than the rest, than those other 2 supports in that core that I was talking about. He's gonna be able to pop a magic wand, probably live a little bit longer. He doesn't even have boots at this point. I'm guessing he's saving for travels. But he's going to be able to do lethal damage to probably 3 heroes. And that is a terrific amount of damage. Even to the cores. By himself, he's going to do almost half of the, more than half of Alchemist health. He's going to be able to do more than half of the Wraith King's health. And the Armlet, by the way, this is a thing that it counters, and I didn't think about this before. Armlet of Mordigian. The Armlet of Mordigian, you have 2 heroes in the Armlet of Mordigian, and they're going to be natural Armlet carriers, Wraith King and the Alchemist. Well, what doesn't really work is an Armlet of Mordigian against the Venomancer. 1 Plague Ward, 1 damage over time. when you go down and you get you go to 0 health and you get a tick of that, you're dead. Doesn't matter that you have an armlet or Digion. So it's a very good counter to these two. These are 2 position 1 heroes. So this Venomancer pick is actually a fantastic pick in this game. You're going to be able to have early lane support. You're going to have vision all over the map. You're going to have lane push into towers. You're going to have late game siege because of those things. You're going to have an alt that's able to go off pretty much no matter what happens. Really terrific hero. And a terrific way to play it. It doesn't necessarily matter, though. His teammates, he's helped out his teammates so much in this earlier part of the game that they are farmed. It is 19-9 score. It's pretty clear that Synderen doesn't need to do much to finish this game and to its completion. He's going to go up. He's going to be the ward bitch. Once again, the high ground ward bitch. He's going to be the sieger. Very slow siege. You can already see him putting the wards up. He's starting the siege here. He doesn't really need to be that close. He starts the high ground vision. He wants to see what's going on. It's immediately attacked by the alchemist. Puts it right back up there. How annoying is that going to be for an alchemist? Just a constant barrage. And this is going to be able to hit hit him as an armlet carrier. So he can't keep his armlet on and then switch it off because he'll have no health and then he'll die. They have vision of what's going on at the high ground. They can keep pushing that high ground. But his point I was saying earlier is his allies are so strong right now that it's not clear that they're really going to need him for the siege. You've got a Shadow Fiend with an Eye of Scotty. He's got an Aegis. He's got Sanj and Yasha, a Black King Bar, and Power Treads. He's going to pick up a big damage item here very soon. Probably going to go for, if he's doing for high ground, he may pick up an MKB. Not really sure. You've got the Blink Dagger, you've got the BKB, you've got the Armlet on a Slardar. That's going to be good enough for a Slardar. You've got really good support items here on the Darkseer. You get the Guardian Greaves, fantastic sustain push item. Soul Ring for constant mana. He'll upgrade that later. He's got a Blink Dagger, which is all he really needs for the initiation, the Wombo Combo Alt Vacuum. And he's probably going to go for the, I'm guessing that's the AoE Frost Hive. For some reason I'm not remembering it. Yeah, the Shiva's Garb, that's right. So he's going to be able to get in that fight, slow down the Alchemist's attack speed, slow him down physically, slow down the Wraith King's attack speed, slow him down physically. That's a really good counter for 2 heroes that honestly need a lot of attack speed because they need to be able to hit, repeatedly, get that health regen, Octarine Core on Alchemist there, get that health regen from the Vampiric Aura. Okay, so we're at minute 31, just past the 30-minute mark. Venomancer here, played by Synderen, picked up the point booster. He's clearly going to go for the Ags. His role is to continue to play ward bitch. This is all he's really doing, buying wards, keeping vision over what's going on, letting his teammates farm, choking off the enemy's resources, choking out their economic growth, making sure they cannot go through this jungle and just farm it up, at least not without his team knowing. So they can back off, and if necessary, potentially smoke in and get a nice gank. And they're going to know that the enemy is there if they do that. So he may be switching here. He picked up a casual point booster. He may have been going for the Ags, building into the Ags over time, maybe as a very late game, but he switched it up. It appears as though he is now going for some anti-armor. I believe that's the crest. So he was probably going to go ahead and build the anti-armor, I'm guessing to try to deal with the significant amount of armor that's currently on the Wraith King. Currently on the Alchemist. Not a ton of armor on the Alchemist yet, but the Wraith King is going to be very difficult to deal with in combination with the Alchemist. So I guess he's making the calculation, look, we need to be able to burn down the Wraith King a little bit more. I can do a lot of magical damage, but I also have a hero, a Slardar, who does basically just physical damage. He does have a nice anti-armor spell. This is, I guess, maybe to add some evasion to the Shadow Fiend once he gets the crest. Maybe to add some evasion to the Night Stalker. Just an overall good item. It's a decent build-up. He doesn't have to spend a significant amount of money. He's got 550, 325, Blightstone's 300. Now, the Talisman's going to be much more significant. But in the meantime, he'll have an anti-armor item or a bonus armor item that he'll be able to deal with. And, of course, the other benefit to this is their enemy team is a lot of right-click. Of course, there's going to be really good damage on the Bat Rider, magical damage on the Bat Rider, really good magical damage on the Lion with that finger. But the primary damage source of a Wraith King is physical. The primary damage of an Alchemist is physical, although he does have a Radiance, which is a nicely diversified damage. So, he can kill the enemy faster, or he can, basically with it, he can help his team avoid being killed right away, which is maybe the reason why, in addition to Slardar's ult, which is an amplified damage, 20% armor reduction, he's going to go ahead and go for that. It's a nice build-up, decent item. So we got to pause here. Go ahead and fast forward a little bit. So right now what's happening on the map is the enemy team is pushing the top lane. He doesn't seem to care all that much. He is continuing to push bottom lane. He's trying to keep the lanes pushed in. He's farming some decent items. But overall, he's not doing too much. It's not that, it's not like early game where he can just sit around in the enemy jungle and slowly sap up experience. Warding with his wards is fine. He's doing that as he goes along, but he does need to stick with his teammates. He needs to stick around them to make sure that they're A, supported, and B, he doesn't get caught out. Looks like they got 5. I wonder if they're going to smoke here. No, they're going to leave with Synderen into the woods. Ah, Roche. That's what's happening. So the enemy team has no idea what's going on. I'm not sure who he gave. By the way, he gave this gem to somebody else. I'm not sure who he gave it to. I guess he got rid of it so he wouldn't drop it. Yeah, he went through the woods, he cleared it out, and I guess he got rid of it. Unless he died. I don't remember him dying, though. Excuse me. And is it on the courier? That is the question I have. It's not on the courier, so he must have lost it. Okay, so now they're starting. They've got the Aegis. That's what they were doing. They were basically going through the jungle, checking out the jungle, making sure the jungle was clear so they can go ahead and get the Aegis, and they can now push the tier 3s. This is the slow siege we're talking about. This is what Venomancer is going to be good at. You cannot stop this damage. There's the ult. I'm not sure he hit everybody. Looks like he did hit the Alchemist. Maybe hit Mushi, not really sure. He's done his job. He can now just sit there and focus on hitting towers. He doesn't really have a whole lot of other damage he can do. Maybe protect his allies, maybe even take a fall for the team, if necessary. He is not sitting back line. He is forward. He is continuing to put pressure with his Plague Wards. This is really nasty because there's nothing they can do to stop this. They have to go. They can't AoE burn down these things. There he is. Continue to put on the pressure. Aegis is burned. Quakefa loses it. Oh my gosh, that was a nice AoE stun there from Era. They're going to go ahead and clear up the entire teammate. They saved the Alchemist with the swap. 343 did a good job there, but that's game. That was a systematic, I want to say surgical play by Diggity, and specifically by Synderen on the Venomancer. Well, I hope you enjoyed this analysis. Just in summary, I'm learning as I'm going on that basically what happened is this Venomancer was picked as a position 5 because he can die and it doesn't matter. All his job is to do is to get vision, help push down towers, slow the enemy for ganks, a very nice all-around support hero. Looks like Synderen played it to the maximum. He cleared out. He did a good job of gaining vision anytime they wanted to take an objective. And that's basically it. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope I wasn't terrible in my first cast. Good luck, everybody, and have fun.